So I saw this post from CaseyTron on Twitter. It's about a stream challenge that I felt like doing because it says here, name 100 LGBT people challenge. Cannot use chat, so no one in chat counts. Can be dead. Can be streamers. Can be any version of their name. Spelling doesn't count as long as your heart is in the right place, which is valid. No family, friends, or ex-girlfriend or neighbors or any of that shit. They have to be public figures. Okay, so no one I know personally. And self-identifying as queer. So I'm not allowed to out someone or speculate on someone. No fictional characters, must be someone... Okay, this is going to be where I stumble, I think. So I know a lot of LGBT fictional characters. I can do the entire list of just fictional, but we'll try and keep it real. No repeats. Time starts as soon as type your first letter of the first name. Ends when you type the last letter of the last name. Must be typed in a list. They would 1 to 100. Have to say their name, not a description. E.g. Portia de Rossi, which is good. I would have given her as my example as well, because I liked her in Arrested Development. But you can't say, oh, Ellen's wife. Okay, so someone that you actually need to know. I've made a quick Google doc here. In fact, let me make it into a list. Numbered list. Here we go. Can I name 100 LGBT people? And how long would it take me to do? Taking bets now on whether or not I'll reach the end of the 100 or not. Let's find out. Okay. Who do I want to start my list off with? I'll start with Alan Turing. Because he's someone I think is really fucking cool and deserved a lot better. Alan Turing is number 1. Number 2, I'm going to put Anne Bonny. And then number 3, I'll have Mary Read. Which I know seems like she is cheating a little bit because they're a couple. And their stories are basically just one story together. But I thought I'd get the easy ones out of the way first. And they're both icons. I fucking love pirates. Who else do I want? I want to try and stick to historical figures. Because I know, the thing is, I'm trying to make this not too easy for myself. I know if I put in like musical artists, I can very easily fill out the list with just current top artists like Chappell Roan. Oops. And then I can do someone like Lady Gaga. Get the easy ones out of the way. But then like, I know the entire list could end up being like this. So I'm going to try and limit musicians and try and focus more on historical figures that I know would have been LGBT throughout the entirety of history. I'm trying to think, who can I think of that's also a good one? I want to be somewhat educational. Ian McKellen. No, Sir Ian McKellen. Because he's fucking Magneto. And Gandalf, legitimately one of my favourite actors of all time. There are some people I can think of that I don't want to include, like Ezra Miller, who I know is non-binary, but at the same time, they are a piece of shit, so I don't want to include them. I also want to think of more unconventional ones as well. Especially for the top 10. I think the top 10 need to be the first 10 anyway. Okay, no worries. Hold on to that one. In fact, if you want to do the list alongside me, go ahead and do it. In fact, I think I should have at least one controversial one on there. Anne Frank was widely speculated to be, because of her diary, she did write a lot about her feelings towards women. She never got to express them, because obviously she died before she could elaborate any further. But I think I want to include that, because it's an important part about her diary, because it was originally redacted. Because they didn't want to include any LGBT content, but it was later added in. And people realized that, oh, she was kind of hella gay for women. So I think it's one I should include in my top 100. Or top 10 of my top 100. I didn't know about it either until I read Anne Frank's diary and I realized it. But I think it was her dad that originally cut out or redacted a lot of the sexual stuff in his daughter's book. Because he was personally uncomfortable with it. But I think later on in life he realized that it is an important part about history that he needs to preserve and not censor. Marsha P. Johnson. Who I'm putting in my top 10 because legitimately we wouldn't have Pride without her. She was bisexual from the looks of it. In the diary, she was questioning her sexuality quite a bit and was talking about her feeling towards women. What was the name of the author who wrote the portrait of Dorian Gray? Because I know he is also LGBT. I'm pretty sure.
This guy!
He's also not a good person, so I don't know if I want to include him. I'm pretty sure. I can't remember what it was. I want to quickly look up. There was a controversy, if I remember correctly. Imprisonment. Here we go. What was he imprisoned for? Hours of walking on a treadmill. People paid to do that. Dude was sentenced to a gym membership. Was it literally just for being gay? Because that's the same as Alan Turing, isn't it? If he's not cancelled, I'll put him on my list. If he is, I'm not putting him on. What was the problem with Oscar Wilde? Prostitution ring, okay. Ah, underage boys, that was it. I think that was it. He wasn't only into men, he was into boys, which was the problem. I'm not going to put him on my list then. I'll leave him out. I'll tell you who is on this list. King Louis. You know, before I do, I'll put the other one before. First of all, La Maupin, who I fucking love. I'm going to tell you about her real quick. So, Julie I can't spell her last name or pronounce it. Delbini, I think. She's a fucking icon. She's called Mademoiselle Maupin or La Maupin, which was her name. But, yeah, she's a fucking icon, right? Because she used to dress like a man. And she was an expert at fencing. And she went to a ball. She danced with the prettiest lady there that had, like, several men trying to propose to her. And then she dueled them one by one, right? She took them out to duel for the lady's hand in marriage. And she beat them all. I think it was like 3 or 4 dudes who all wanted to marry this one lady at a ball. She got to dance with them. And then she kicked the ass of every dude that wanted her. Which I think is a fucking Giga Chad move. Somewhat controversial as well. One thing she also did is she burned down a nun's monastery because one of her friends became a nun. So she joined the same monastery. And then she conspired to run away with her then partner, girlfriend, who they got together, obviously. And they did this by burning the body of a dead nun to fake her death. And then they ran away, which is matchless as all hell. But also King Louis's brother at this time, I need to find out what his name was, or which Louis it was, because there's a lot of King Louis. Her dad was, yeah, King Louis the 14th. King Louis the 14th's brother was trans. He was preference for male lovers. He's very open about it. So people were very accepting of the LGBT community during this very specific period in France because the king's brother was gay as hell. Yeah, so he was a femboy. One of the first femboys in history. I do want to put him on, so I'm going to put him as Philippe the First. New Orleans. French monarchy is difficult because they all have the same fucking name, right? They're all called Louis or something. At least with England, we stopped at Henry VIII, and we stopped with the Henrys. Yeah, Louis the 14th is probably the most iconic Louis. I'm trying not to pick the easy, obvious one, but I think I might have to. I don't think I'll get to 100 if I keep making this too difficult for myself. Was Madame Ching LGBT? Let me quickly look that one up. I want to check my facts before I say it. Right, limited direct evidence to definitely confirm whether. I don't think there was. I know who was, though. Wu Zayton, I'm pretty sure was. Oh, I know who is. Hang on, you spell the spelling. Hatshepsut. Let me see how you spell that. Hatshepsut. That's the one. First female pharaoh. I think not first. I think it's the second female pharaoh. He was trans. Well, I should say he actually, because Hatshepsut was the sixth pharaoh of 18th dynasty, but she eventually decided to start identifying as a man, had their pronouns changed to male pronouns, and even wore a fake beard. She's the second confirmed woman who ruled in her own right. First being, I could never spell or pronounce this one, so I always say Hatshepsut instead of this one. Sobukneferu, okay. He was Queen Regent. So yeah, Hatshepsut was essentially one of the first recorded instances of a trans person we've ever had. They are, yeah, Jiran J. Zhao did a book Iron Widow based on Wu Zetian. There's an icon for you. She was shown as a male pharaoh with a false beard, had led some scholars to theories about her potential non-binary or trans identity. It's difficult because obviously there's not much written information since from that time period. Was Mary Shelley LGBT? She was likely bisexual. She's going on my list. I fucking love Frankenstein. She's an icon. She's had love affairs with women. Okay, hell yeah, queen. Housey mousey for women. Damn. I know she never married after Percy passed away, her husband, Percy Shelley. Freddie Mercury, why not? I know I can't put fictional people on this list, but I have got a hot take. I think die-hard fans of the series might not agree with, but Bilbo Baggins is gay. In fact, you can say the same about Sam and Frodo, but I think they're more obvious. But Bilbo Baggins never got married for a reason. Like, the dude had options. He was the richest man in the Shire. Yeah, I don't think hobbits would be homophobic. I mean, I should hope not. I don't think, are there any LGBT game developers I can think of? I can think of studios, but I can't think of like individual developers. Like Hideo Kojima, I know isn't, even though he's very supportive of it. I want to put down some actors. Hunter Schafer. Elliot Page. I think whenever you talk about trans actors or anything like that, they are the two that come up when people get mad about it. Vivian Jenna Wilson is a fucking icon. She goes on my list. Hang on, I spelled that wrong. There you go, Vivian Jenna Wilson. Can I put down Rasputin? Because that dude was basically, it says peasant turned mystic. I'd say he's more of a sex wizard. Shout out hemophilia, that's the only reason I know of this whole situation. Yeah, he okay, yeah, Rasputin was gay. I could put him down. Because the song is a banger, at least. I'll put in Neil Patrick Harris. I do enjoy him in pretty much everything he's in. And I'm thinking of him because he's playing Deadpool in that Deadpool VR game that's coming up. That we saw in Summer Game Fest. That's the reason he was on my mind recently. Elon and Donald. I don't think they're good enough to be in my list, to be honest. I don't think they can. I'm not going to include them anyway. I'm trying to think of like historical American figures that are LGBT, but then I realized there probably aren't really any. At what point do you give up? When I can't think of anything. Would you count the people who did like plays during Shakespeare's time? Because back then, women weren't allowed to act, so they had men playing women and kissing each other for Romeo and Juliet. It's just a thought that popped into my head, if that counts. You know what, I'll go until 4:30, so I'll give myself 7 more minutes on this list, and then maybe I'll pick it up at a later date. Just so I don't end up spending the whole stream on this. I do want to get around to talking about Elon Musk and Donald Trump getting divorced. Do you know who I do want to include? Cam Clark, who's the voice of Liquid Snake in Metal Gear Solid. He's a great voice actor. Yeah, Cam Clark is gay. Who's Cam Clark? He's the voice of Liquid Snake in Metal Gear Solid. Casey I need to check how to spell this name. Was it Montiglio? Mongillo, that was it. Voice of Shinji Ikari from Neon Genesis Evangelion is also non-binary. Yep, Shinji Ikari. In fact, while I'm at it, Erika Ishii, also non-binary, going to be the protagonist of Ghost of Yote. Recently found out, speaking of voice actors, Tara Strong is one hell of a Zionist. Give a fact about asexuals. Okay. Can I think of a good one about asexuals? Let me think. You could probably consider the Doomslayer to be asexual from the Doom games, because that man has like literally one thing on his mind, and that's killing demons. He's never once thought about sex. In fact, one of my favorite things video games do, right, is when they make a character really stoic and serious, and, you know, try and make him look badass, and they actually make him autistic. Like, they get all these traits that they think makes the character cool, where they are all serious, stoic, the Doomslayer or the Master Chief or whatnot. And in the end, they just make them very autistic and asexual. Like, you see in all sorts of characters, like Dante from Devil May Cry, autistic and asexual. The fact that he knew Nero wasn't his son because he's never had sex. That's how he knew that Nero was Virgil's son. Kazuma Kiryu, once again, same thing. I guess it just means asexual people are really fucking badass. Batman, yeah, was originally that until some of them. And some of the romance storylines that Batman gets are really out of character for him as well. Like, they're some of the worst Batman storylines. In fact, he's fine without any love interest. He doesn't need a Lois Lane. But that's not what the core of his stories are about, are they? Yeah, Master Chief, Joe Halo is not having any sex whatsoever. I wish I could put fictional characters. There's so many fictional characters. Like, Piccolo from Dragon Ball Z confirmed asexual because the man cannot reproduce. He has no genitals, so he can't have sex. So he's confirmed asexual. I mean, he can reproduce asexually by laying eggs, which is how Namekians reproduce. But he's the asexual single dad representation we all need. Godzilla, do you know what? I want to put Godzilla in this list, because Godzilla is asexual. Fucking Kakyo Digulated Seg. Kakyo would be a good name for a donut brand. I want to think of more historical ones, and I can't think of any historical American figures. But I do want some more historical American like representation on here if I can think of one. I might go with a few artists. I know there are definitely some gay artists out there. In fact, hang on. One I learned about in school. Frida Kahlo. I think she might have been the very first. Did I spell that wrong? I'm pretty sure that's how you spell it. I imagine you guys would have more that I wouldn't have. Yeah, Frida. Oh, there's no E in there. They taught her when I was in school when we were doing English literature. I think she probably was one of the first LGBT like artists I've ever heard about. I don't know if I want to, but I'll mention in a minute. I could put Chris Chan on this list. I don't think I want to contaminate my list with Chris Chan though, so let's not. But unfortunately, they would count as someone I could put on this list. Christian Weston Chandler, or Christine Weston Chandler as they're known now. I probably wouldn't have, actually. You might have more than me that I wouldn't know. I want to come up with more people wouldn't know, like Pat Shepard is the one I always go to as the one that not many people seem to know about. Richard the Lionheart. That's the one I was thinking of. I was getting them confused. They found his body under a car park, didn't they? Richard the Third. Oh, okay. I'm getting my Richards confused. Richard the Lionheart I know was gay, which was Richard the First. Charles II wasn't. Okay. Maybe he should have been. Dude was an icon. You know what? I'm gonna put the most iconic ancient Greek gay on here. Let me spell his name properly, actually. How do you spell it? Alcibiades? It's really hard to spell. I want to make sure I get it right. That's it. Alcibiades. That was it. Dude is famous for throwing the biggest orgies in ancient Greece. I think he gets to be number 25. That's my 25. Alright, if anyone else wants to share their list, go for it. I'll stop at 25, because otherwise I'll be here all day. My problem is I'm too picky with who I want to include on my list or not. Because I know plenty of people that I would put on, but then my brain's like, no, this is too obvious, it's too easy. Work harder. Or it's like, no, this person's a piece of shit, let's not include them. The most famous lesbian, I'm not including Ellen DeGeneres. I'm pretty sure there are some more famous lesbians I didn't include. There are some that I didn't want to include because it'd be too easy. Elton John, I can see why. Wentworth Miller, I forgot about. I forgot about Wentworth Miller. He's an icon. I did not know about Russell T Davies. Okay, I can understand why you put a lot of these people on there. Alan Carr is another obvious one I can't put on. Oh, Sappho, you mean the original lesbian? The world's first lesbian, right? I think this will do for my 25. RuPaul I'm not a big fan of, so I wouldn't want to include them. Kevin Conroy, I forgot about him. Kevin Conroy is a fucking icon. Ruby Rose is also fantastic in John Wick 2. I really liked her acting.